79.
Well, so were you involved? Well, tell me about the strike. What was going on?
Well, my version's going to be different. I actually have the final contract here somewhere in one of these boxes. And technically, comedians are independently workers. So we're not salaried workers. So they wanted to establish a pay. There wasn't, nobody got paid. But Mitzi, you know, if she liked you, you worked. And she would do things like, yeah, I need lights put in on my house. It's a mansion. What do I know? I put in lights. And a month later, for $500. A month later, she poked me in the booth. And I said, that hurt. She goes, I had a real electrician. He doesn't know how my house is standing. And I said, well, you get what you pay for. But the strike started. What happens is, I think it's Argus gets the idea. Wow, let me start over. She buys the building and throws out the Mexican disco run by Art LeBeau. Only, even though she owns the building now, Art LeBeau has a lease. So he throws her out. And that's when Westwood takes off. And he's the funny farm and nobody will work there. And 8 months later, she's back in and started to enlarge upstairs. And it was a few years before she enlarged the original room. And Argus said, you know, you have that main room. Why don't we fix it up and put acts in there like Buddy Hackett? And not realizing the Vegas acts are going, we make hundreds of thousands of dollars 4 hours from here. Why would we work your club? So they gave it a try with Jackie Mason, Tiny Tim. And then Argus said, why don't you use your headliners here? And at this point, you're 3 or 4 years, 5, 6 years in. And she had 17 headliners is what we counted. And they went and wanted to be paid. And she said, no. So they got what I call the little people, which is another 500. And said, we're going to make it so we all get paid and have insurance. Just listen to us. And I remember there's one meeting at the Hyatt House and Gallagher went, let's get the cunt. And I went, well, if it's not everybody, I'm out of here. And I walked downstairs into Mitzi's office and said, they're coming for you. What can I do? I was the very first one. Argus, you can imagine, was the second. I think there was Binder. There's about 7, 8 of us. I'm the only one with a SAG card out of all the hundreds. So the strike is ugly. The signs are not creative. You know, no yucks, no bucks. Are you kidding me? And, you know, Pauly Shore's peeing on them from the roof. He's only like 8. Leno got hit by a car, but, you know, it was nothing. And then a kid named Steve Lebekin, who was struggling in life anyway, was out front picketing, and she looked at him and said, well, he's in La Jolla tonight. If he's going to picket me, he's not going to work. And then he joined the picket line in their side, and somewhere along the line, he got it in his head he would never be able to work again because of Mitzi Shore controlled show business. And he went over to the Hyatt House and jumped. Didn't make it to the Comedy Store, smashed himself into the ramp. And sadly, the other side made a dummy, broke into the office of Mitzi and said, you killed him. And right around there, things started to change because they also aligned themselves with a union that was dead named AGFA, which was circus clowns. And they said they were going to pull SAG cards because all unions, when you're a union, if you say we're going to strike, they all have to agree. So I went, and the vice president at the time of Screen Actors Guild closed the door and proceeded to scream at me for 10 minutes. We don't give a shit about you comics. Agfa, you mother, we're trying to kill her. I said, calm down. Are you going to pull cards? I don't think we can legally do that. Thank you. Went back, crossed the line, went in and said, they're not pulling any cards. And we kept going. And then, you know, it came time to settle. And the leader was Dreesen. And I can't I want to say there was a girl. I don't want to mention her name. I can't think of it. But basically, at one point, Dreesen said, if you don't agree with us, you're out. And I said, well, I think that's how they got the Jews on the train. That's not a good thing. And he threw me out. Then Marty Cohen said something and got thrown out. Then Biff, who's not a Jew, said something and got thrown out. And that's the way it was. And they were going to decide who's funny. And now I had a problem with making yourself president and deciding who the funny people are, because Dreesen was never going to get me, or 50 others. And it was just not fair. So we broke their backs, and she never wanted to settle, but finally did. 25 during the week, split the main room on the weekends with her, 50-50. And Bud said, oh, you can use my place whenever you want for the meetings, and I'll do whatever she does. He paid $17.50 and took out taxes, which, of course, comics have no balls. They could have sued him because we're independent contractors. If you take out, that means they could get insurance, or if they fall down there, they could sue. When you're independent, you don't have any of that. They started out with great intentions, and then I think it became ego. And I think the time was wrong. But the mistake is nobody should tell anybody who's funny and what you're worth.
Coop's Comedy Corner. Coop's Comedy Corner.